Success is not a miracle. It doesn't appear out of nowhere like a gift from the sky. Nor is it a privilege reserved for a select few born lucky, under perfect conditions, or with natural talent. The truth is, many intelligent and capable people still live average lives. And on the other hand, there are countless individuals who started with nothing, who failed over and over again, yet still rose to greatness. Success is not determined by your starting point, it comes from an unwavering commitment to action. Success is the reward for those who dare to begin, dare to persist, and dare to keep going, even when no one is watching. It's not a sudden burst of inspiration. It's the result of countless small, repeated actions every single day, the early mornings in silence, the late nights when everyone else has gone to bed but you're still grinding. Success is the product of silent perseverance, of choosing the hard path, of repeatedly saying no to short-term comfort in pursuit of long-term goals. Here's a truth many don't want to hear: most people want success. They talk about it, dream about it, visualize a better future, but very few actually achieve it. Not because they aren't smart or lack opportunity, but because they are the ones who give up. They wait for motivation to act. They wait for external validation to push forward. They allow fatigue, doubt, and temporary failure to interrupt their journey. But for the few who make it, every day is a choice, to keep going or to quit. And they always choose to keep going. Success, then, is not a mystery. It is simple, but not easy. It's a formula made up of determination, self-discipline, and unshakable resilience. There are no shortcuts, no magic formulas. You can't control where you were born, but you can control how hard you're willing to work and how seriously you take your path. When you act as though there's no way back, when you treat growth as your mission, success stops being a matter of if and becomes a matter of when. On the journey to success, many people begin with a blazing fire called motivation. They feel excited, full of inspiration, ready to change their lives. But the unfortunate truth is that motivation is a fleeting emotion. It comes quickly, and disappears just as fast. When difficulties arise, when fatigue kicks in, or when results don't come immediately, motivation fades. And that's when most people slow down, then give up. In contrast, there is discipline, an element that does not rely on emotion. Discipline is the commitment to action, regardless of how you feel, regardless of who is watching. A disciplined person will still wake up early even when tired, still complete the task even without excitement, still move forward even when results aren't yet visible. Discipline turns action into habit, and habit builds success. Winners understand that waiting for motivation before taking action is a trap. They don't let temporary emotions dictate their long-term future. They act as a way of life, not based on how they feel, but based on who they are. Discipline is their weapon to stay resilient during the worst days. When energy is low and nothing seems to be going right, you cannot control how you feel every day, but you can control how you act. And it's that consistency in disciplined action, repeated day after day, that creates extraordinary results. This is why disciplined people go farther than those who rely on motivation. Success doesn't come from inspiration. It comes from the ability to do the work even when you don't feel like it. Perseverance is the key to survival on the journey to success. Everyone starts strong, full of energy, determination, and a desire to break through. At the beginning, everything feels fresh. Every plan is full of hope. But after a few weeks or months, when challenges start to pile up, the crowd begins to fade. Their energy dips, their motivation wanes, and most people start to retreat. They slow down, stop pushing, and convince themselves, maybe this isn't for me. This is the moment when perseverance becomes the ticket that separates the ordinary from the exceptional. Success doesn't belong to those who start strong. It belongs to those who never stop. Fatigue is inevitable. Discouragement, frustration, and small failures will come as mental tests. But successful people understand that these feelings are part of the process. They don't run away. They face them, push through, and keep going. What's important is this: during the times you don't see any results, when everything feels stagnant, progress is still happening silently, like a seed growing roots underground, invisible to the eye, yet full of life. Perseverance is the belief in the process, the strength to keep moving even when there's no evidence you're on the right path. Perseverant people don't act based on emotion. They act based on commitment. They understand that quitting too soon means giving up on an entirely different future that they could have reached. In the end, success doesn't come from a few moments of brilliance. It comes from hundreds, thousands of hours of quiet, unrecognized effort. And only through relentless perseverance can you make it through the phase where most others give up. One of the hardest parts of the journey to success is doing the work when no one is watching, when no one is recognizing your efforts, when there's no audience, no applause, no encouragement. Many people start to slack off. They only try when there's someone to see it, when there's praise, when the results are acknowledged. But success does not belong to those who only perform under the spotlight. It belongs to those who quietly put in the work behind the scenes. Successful people deeply understand that great progress is built from countless unseen actions. It's waking up earlier than others. It's staying up late reading, studying, writing, or working while most people have gone to sleep. It's saying no to temporary pleasures, rejecting comfort to focus on personal growth. It's these unseen moments that truly make the difference. There is no shortcut to success. No one builds an extraordinary life by working only when they feel motivated or when someone is watching. Because the ultimate results don't come from a few bursts of brilliance, but from quiet, consistent actions repeated every single day. What you do when no one is watching, that's who you really are. Don't wait for someone to recognize you. Don't wait for praise. Do it for your goals, your vision, for the better version of yourself that's waiting ahead. Become the kind of person who can drive yourself. Not because you're seen, but because you know you deserve success. That's how greatness is forged. In the moments no one sees, but you still choose to show up and act. No one achieves success without going through hardship. On the road to pursuing any major goal, difficulty is not a surprise. It is inevitable. The truth is, success always demands a price. It demands comfort, time, and the sacrifice of easy habits in exchange for real growth. Unfortunately, most people seek an easy path, one without pain, without failure, without exhaustion. And when they realize that such a path doesn't exist, they give up. Winners are different. They don't avoid difficulty. They expect it. They understand that adversity is the environment where strength is forged, where character is built. No greatness is born in the comfort zone. Comfort doesn't create success. It is discomfort and challenges that push you beyond your limits and force you to grow. Instead of wishing for ease, prepare yourself to embrace difficulty as a natural part of the journey. Challenges are not barriers. They are tests to determine if you're truly worthy of what you're chasing. Every time you want to quit, that is when you need to hold on tighter. Every time you fall, it's an opportunity to rise even stronger. The hardest moments often shape who you truly are. Remember this: if the path you're walking is stretching you, testing your limits, and forcing you to endure, then you're on the right path. Because there is no breakthrough in career, study, or self-development without sacrifice. If you embrace hardship as a non-negotiable part of growth, you will go further than 90% of people. Those who gave up the moment they felt tired. Excuses don't change results. No matter how valid your reasons sound, reality remains the same. You either did it, or you didn't. On the path to success, making excuses is the fastest way to limit yourself. Every time you say, "I don't have time," "I'm too tired," or "now isn't the right moment," you're not just delaying action. you're also silently shortening the distance between you and your dreams. Ordinary people let their emotions dictate their actions. If they feel motivated, they act; if not, they procrastinate. But successful people are different. They understand that action is based on commitment, not emotion. They work even when they're tired, even when no one is watching, and especially when there's no guarantee that results will come soon. They don't let excuses get in the way. The truth is, everyone is busy. Everyone has problems. And everyone feels tired. But successful people don't use those as reasons to delay. They don't blame circumstances, other people, or a lack of motivation. They know that in an unfair world, discipline and hard work are the only things fully within their control. Every time you choose to procrastinate, you're feeding a dangerous habit. The habit of stagnation. It doesn't just slow your progress. It erodes your confidence and weakens your resolve. On the other hand, every action you take, no matter how small, strengthens your character and brings you closer to your most powerful self. Say no to procrastination. Stop making excuses. If something truly matters, act. Even if you don't feel ready. There is no perfect time. No perfect plan. There's only one thing that creates results: consistent, uncompromising action on the path to success. There will come a time when people around you start to doubt you. They'll ask, "Why are you working so hard? Why not just take it easy? You're putting too much pressure on yourself." At first, it might come from concern, but eventually, your effort makes them uncomfortable, because it reflects back the stagnation in their own lives. And instead of raising their standards, many will try to pull you back to normal. This doesn't happen because they're bad people. It's because your growth forces them to confront the truth that they could have done more, but didn't. And that's when you need to be stronger than ever. If your mindset isn't solid, you'll start to doubt yourself. You'll wonder if maybe they're right. But remember, they don't live your life. They don't carry your dreams. They don't know your reasons. Real success requires a level of commitment so deep that you're willing to be misunderstood, criticized, even isolated. You must accept that not everyone will support you. In fact, the more serious you are about your path, the more different you become. And difference often triggers resistance. But you cannot let others' doubts shake your determination. This is the test. Are you willing to keep going? Even if you're the only one who believes. Don't lower your standards to be accepted. Don't slow down just because others think you're moving too fast. Your commitment doesn't need anyone's approval. Only your own consistency. People may call you crazy, obsessed, or someone who doesn't know how to relax. But one day, they'll call you inspiring. Many people delay action while waiting for clarity. They want to be 100% certain before taking the first step. They sit down, think, analyze, calculate, plan out every detail, but never start. They tell themselves, "I need to understand more. It's not the right time." Or "I need more information." And just like that, they fall into a familiar trap. The trap of procrastination disguised as preparation. The truth is, clarity doesn't come from thinking. It comes from doing. You can read countless books, write endless plans, ask for all the advice in the world, but you won't know what truly works until you take action. Only when you move forward will you see the path. Only when you begin will you understand what's right, what's wrong, and what needs adjusting. There is no perfect road ahead. It's built step by step as you walk. Successful people don't wait for everything to be clear. They act even when they feel unsure, even when doubt is present. They're not afraid of being wrong. They're afraid of doing nothing. They understand that mistakes can be fixed, but hesitation kills progress. And while others are still analyzing risks, they've already moved several steps ahead. Because it's action that builds experience and expands your vision. The more you wait, the more opportunities you miss. The more you overthink, the more you paralyze yourself with imagined fears. Overanalysis breeds doubt. And doubt breeds inaction. You begin to imagine worst-case scenarios. What if I fail? What if people laugh at me? What if I waste my time? But you forget that doing nothing is an even greater risk. Even the smallest action is more powerful than hours of endless thinking. Every step teaches you something. Every attempt helps you understand yourself better. Every failure brings a lesson that no book or advice can teach as deeply as real experience. You cannot think your way into growth. You must live it. Act on it. Go through it. And once you begin to take action, you'll discover something amazing. Clarity never comes first. It comes during the journey. What you thought you wanted at the start may change. The plans that looked perfect on paper may collapse in reality. But you'll never know unless you start. And if you don't start, you'll remain stuck. Winners aren't the ones with the best plans. They are the ones who start when others are still hesitating. They don't wait to feel ready to act. They know that ready is an illusion. You only feel ready after you've already started. So don't wait until you're sure. Don't wait until you feel confident, knowledgeable, or fully prepared. You'll never feel perfect. But you don't need to be perfect to begin. You just need to begin in order to become better. Failure is not the end. It's not proof that you're not good enough, not smart enough, or undeserving of success. Failure is simply data. It's feedback from reality, showing you what's not working, what needs improvement, and what can be done better. Unfortunately, most people treat failure like a personal wound, a source of shame, and a reason to quit. Society teaches us early on that failure is something negative. As children, we are praised when we're right and punished when we're wrong. So as we grow up, many people carry a fear of failure like a shadow. They don't try, don't take risks, and don't step out of their comfort zones. Not because they're incapable, but because they don't want to feel like a loser. But successful people understand one thing clearly: failure is an essential part of growth. No one reaches greatness without stumbling. In fact, the more you fail early and often, the faster you learn, grow, and move forward. Because each failure, if looked at correctly, is a valuable report telling you exactly what to improve. The real danger is not failure. It's how you interpret it. A fragile mindset says, I failed, so I'm not good enough. But a resilient person says, I failed. Great. Now I know what to fix. Same situation, different response, completely different outcome. Change your perspective. Failure is not failure if you learn something from it. Every failure is a real-world lesson, something no book or advice can replace. Every mistake is a stepping stone towards success. If you get back up and keep moving, the issue isn't how many times you fail. It's whether you're willing to try one more time. Here's the truth: success is always built on a foundation of failures. You can't avoid them. You can't walk a big path and expect never to trip. What you need is to train yourself to build a mental toughness. So when failure shows up, you don't fall apart. You learn to get back up faster, and often, those very failures are what lead you to the right direction. You try a strategy and it doesn't work? Great. You just eliminated one wrong path. You get rejected? Good. You just strengthened your endurance and patience. No failure is wasted if you know how to view and use it. So don't fear failure. Fear inaction more. Don't wait until you're sure you'll succeed before you begin. That day may never come. Start now. Be ready to fail. Learn fast. Failure is a tough teacher, but it's also the most honest, fair, and effective one you'll ever meet. There's a simple but powerful truth: anyone can start. Anyone can set goals, create a plan, and feel excited about the journey ahead. But not everyone finishes. Because after the exciting beginning comes long days without motivation, phases of exhaustion, doubt, boredom, and failure. And it's in those moments that consistency becomes the deciding factor. The difference between those who succeed and those who quit doesn't lie in talent or circumstances. It lies in the ability to keep going when things get hard. A consistent person keeps working when motivation disappears, keeps showing up when there are no results, and maintains their standards long after others have given up. They don't let emotions control their actions. They let commitment lead the way. While most people act based on inspiration, consistent people act based on principle. They understand that inspiration is temporary, but commitment is a long-term choice. They don't need anyone to push them. They don't need applause. And they don't need instant results. They just need one strong reason to start, and a firm decision to never stop. Consistency isn't about going all in for one intense day. It's about repeating the right actions daily, regardless of how you feel. It's the ability to show up every day and do your work, rain or shine, whether anyone sees it or not. Consistency means saying I'll keep going even when you don't know when results will show. Even when you feel alone on the path you chose. Strangely enough, it's on the days you feel like quitting that you're usually closest to a breakthrough. But most people never realize that. They quit too soon, right before their accumulated efforts could have exploded into results. If only they had stayed consistent a little longer, held their momentum just a bit more, things might have changed. But lack of consistency removes them from the game. Success doesn't come quickly. It isn't for the impatient. It is the result of hundreds, thousands of consistent actions. That's why, in any field, sports, art, business, or academics, the consistent person always stands out. Not because they're more talented, but because they never stopped. Consistency builds mental strength. It creates inner belief that even if no one believes in you, you will keep going, even without results. You work as if success is inevitable. A consistent person doesn't need proof to believe. Their consistency is the proof. Remember, you don't need to be the fastest, the smartest, or the best. But if you are the most consistent, the most disciplined, you will arrive. And when you keep showing up day after day, regardless of tiredness, doubt, or setbacks, success is no longer a possibility. It becomes a certainty. In a world of instant everything, fast food, fast news, instant results, we've become increasingly impatient with slow processes. We want results as soon as we begin. We want to lose weight after a few workouts. We want success after a few weeks of effort. We want recognition after just a few actions. But real success doesn't work that way. No one builds greatness overnight. And no one achieves breakthroughs if they constantly measure their worth by short-term results. Successful people don't work to see immediate outcomes. They work for long-term, silent, but steady progress. They understand that if they just improve by 1% every day, then in a year, they'll be almost 37 times better than when they started. That's the power of compounding. This requires a mindset of patience and deep trust in the process. Because there will be many days when nothing seems to change. No recognition, no breakthrough. Just another day, working, training, learning, and then going to bed. But it's these very days that build the foundation. And these small actions that reshape the future. The impatient will say, I've done this for a while and nothing has happened. And they'll quit. But those who understand the value of long-term growth will say, I don't see results yet. But I'm laying the foundation. They aren't swayed by emotions. They don't let surface-level stagnation deceive them. Because they know that everything solid is built from the inside, where no one else can see. We live in a time where results are celebrated, but the process is undervalued. People applaud the winner without realizing they quietly worked for years. That's why, if you want to truly stand out, you must love the process more than the result. Learn to appreciate every step, every hour of practice, every failure. because each of them is building something most people will never have, a solid foundation. No one sees you waking up early to study. No one knows how many parties you turned down to focus on your goal. No one counts the number of times you felt stuck but kept going. But it's those things no one sees that create the extraordinary version of you. And when the time comes, the results will speak for themselves. And when results arrive, they won't come from one day of intense effort, but from months, even years, of consistent work. You won't succeed because you got lucky in a moment. You'll succeed because you did the right thing long enough, consistently enough, to become impossible to ignore. Thank you for watching the video. I hope these insights have brought value and inspiration to your personal growth journey. If you found it helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more empowering content. Stay consistent, keep growing, and keep winning.